Now, it depends what giants you're talking about. I mean, we met one that wasn't that fearful.
No, but
Oh, that's. Did I hear Michael talking way in the background?
no,
Or is that something else? Okay.
I was setting up a live broadcast.
Oh.
Get this all wonderfully done. Oops. Come on. And paste. Boom. And right there is the live feed link up in the group discussion. Take that out. That out. And take this out. And then let's see here. I'll put that right there. There. Boom. There we go. So who lives, who dies? That's
Yep. If you're ready, Charles. If you...
oh, they're bothering anything.
Oh, okay. And how's Cat today?
Doing well.
Yeah. How's your weather?
Bit rainy.
Yeah.
Not as bad in the UK, but rainy.
Yeah, well, what is it? Tomorrow we're supposed to be already or not tomorrow, by the weekend we're supposed to be already 16, so it'll be whatever. Snow. I don't mind the snow as much as I fucking hate the people bitching about it. That just drives me mad.
Yeah.
Drives me mad. It's like, you know where you fucking live, right?
Yeah. I feel you on that.
When it comes to snow, I always find it funny when countries who aren't used to a lot of snow completely panic over just a bit of dusting of snow. It's hilarious.
Well, even just regional. Like,
Yep.
a few years ago I was over just in British Columbia, and it snowed 4 or 5 centimeters. The whole fucking city shut down. for like 3 days.
I bet the bread aisle was completely empty. Even bread people don't usually buy, that's gone.
Do you know what? People couldn't even get out, Kate. Or Kat. They couldn't get out. Like, they don't even have snow tires. So they can't even get out of their...
Eesh.
Like, literally the town shut down. The only reason that me and my friends got out is because his friend worked for the government for like natural resources and stuff like that, so he was like worked in the mountains, so he had like a big 4-wheel drive truck that was like all equipped for everything. So we got out, but no one else got. Buses don't run. We couldn't get like takeout because like none of the restaurants could even deliver food. I couldn't believe it that like 2 inches of snow shut down everything. I could not believe it.
Must have felt eerie, just going through the town. No one's there.
Do you know what it felt like?
What?
It felt like how wimpy of them. Like here, if it's like here, it's been snowing, right? People are just still in like, you know, running shoes and light jackets. Like, it's not winter yet. It's just the weather dipped and there was precipitation, so we got snow. Like, I don't know. It's just weird how even just in British Columbia, 2 provinces over, and they just handle snow way different than we do. And we don't even get a lot. Like, if you go the other way, you go like east to the Maritimes, holy fuck, they get snow. They get like 5 feet of it. Hey, Charles. Like,
Yeah.
When the Maritimes get snow, like that
Oh,
in that area, like holy fuck. Like are you like inland enough where you must not get the heavy snow?
Well, we get when it depends on how. What the heck happened here? What the heck happened here? Okay.
One.
What
Like,
the heck happened there?
According to everyone where I live, and that's like whether it be like environmental experts or you go to people like Nostradamus and Edgar Casey, that like where I live geographically is one of the stable spots on the globe.
Oh, that's good.
So when like the water rises or the fucking global warming or whatever, that where I live is still always going to be quite habitable.
Well, you're lucky in that sense.
Yep. Yeah, we live inland far enough that we miss a lot of the lake effect snow
And that nor'easter shit.
that's what hits us probably the hardest most of the time. But being on the backside or the front side of the Adirondacks, depending on your perspective, helps a lot too. Because mountains
they
always
filter moisture and break wind and
But we still get, like I said, we still get good snow. Not like when I was a kid, but there's been some times when we've gotten snow that's been 3 feet in a day or so. Or
yeah. Is that where you're from, Charles? Like, is that where you're like born and raised? Is that area?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. As I tell most when I'm describing it, we're just the south of Canada.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I know
we're
you're like
30 miles from Kingston.
yeah. 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 No, I was just wondering because I know that you moved around a lot, so I didn't know if you ended up settling back in your
Oh yeah, I've been away from home so long, and got too many relatives that are getting long in the teeth that I wanted to be here between the wife's folks and mine.
Oh yeah, that's no reason, yeah.
And like that. So when I retired, we retired back here, and now trying to get settled back as really a proper community resident instead of a world resident.
Mm-hmm.
Type thing. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well. Fuck. Why'd I forget your name? Cloud.
That sucks.
What's up?
I blanked on your name. Like, not Cloud. I blanked on it. So please tell me your name.
I don't have a name. Don't worry about it.
No, please tell me your name. It's driving me mad right now.
Alex.
Alex! Oh, fuck. There. I knew it was an A, but Arthur? None of that was sounding right. Okay, Alex. Okay.
You do know our names are displayed next to the little icons at the bottom?
Yeah, but if I look, I feel like I'm cheating. I can't explain that, but if I were to just read in the thing, it just... Alex. Because I knew it was just a mental fart. Like, why would I forget? That's like the other day I was working on I was using my computer. I fucking couldn't remember how to use it. I think I'm getting old. Oh well. Okay.
That's a good time.
Where? Yeah, not much of an option.
Yep.
As we left off. This is session 15, Storm King's Thunder. We left off. The adventurers were in the mining town of Fireshear, which is a crater blasted away by a meteor on the coast of the sea of the Trackless Sea. I think this is where they are right now. Same ocean, west coast. Still quite high up north, just south of the mountains, of the spine of the world mountains, so you're still in tundra. So it's quite a barren landscape around, except for, like I said, this notable feature of this crater that is rich with ores, metal ores, everything from iron, copper, especially some precious metals, and even rumors of other things. It's a rugged mining town run by just by the three main mining companies. So it's a like a pioneer town. Can't think of the term, but all the buildings are like, it's very rustic. So all the majority of the buildings are low stone igloo-like dome structures. Animal pens, carts for ore, heaps of ore on the ground. If there is like any larger buildings that are made out of wood, you could assume it's because they're warehouses. Like, again, company buildings, very industrial. Normally, people spend most of their days in the mines during the day, and there's very few people left in the town. But even now, those people are out of sight and have taken shelter because the town right now is being invaded or being ransacked, being pillaged by a group of frost giants that pulled up in a longship, a giant-sized longship that ground to a halt in the Simple Harbor, and are spread throughout the town and even the dock area, inspecting buildings and ships and carts, at least to pillage. There's a light mist in the air still, so giants that are a ways away just fall into, like, remember like the in the 90s, like the video game fog, right?
Ah, yeah.
You know, the fog, right? When you get farther into the background, it just turns into a fog, right? Because he didn't have the pixels and the memory to do the background, so everything just the fog, the mist. That's how it is. Currently, the party is together, hiding near a street behind some stone cottages. And there are 3 giants on the street and one of them has Nicodemus and Farai stuffed unconscious into a sack. It looks like perhaps he was even going to take them back to the longship because, well, they're spellcasters, so who knows? Maybe he is just going to eat them. I don't know. But Silence and Garl are, like, as I said, hiding amongst the cottages and the animal pens and such. Eve is doing kind of hit and run tactics at these giants, while Cloud is at the longship using his druidic influence to conduct the local marine fauna to gather, using his summoned octopi to help to gather and coordinate this marine life to begin circling this enormous 240-foot long ship. And how wide? I don't know. It's got to be like 40 feet wide or something. I can look. But it's an enormous vessel, and they are. He has the fauna circling the ship, revolving around it slowly, as sparse as it had begun. It is now a continuous line of creatures. It's not quite like, super heavy, but it's constant. And when Silence was backing into the alley to take cover, to obscure the field of view between her and these giants, she bumped into a little alcove with a rain barrel tucked inside of it that is full. When she backs in, she bumps into an unseen, invisible figure. The familiar warmth of clearly a body, which hushes her and assures her to just stay hidden. And it passes by her. She recognizes the voice as Darva, the bronze dragonborn that is apparently one of the bosses of one of the mining companies, of the Silver Triangle specifically, from Neverwinter. And as this invisible figure kind of grabs her by the shoulders and just gently moves her aside, places her safely in the alcove. It makes its way past her. When Garl, from your perspective, seemingly out of nowhere, a pea-sized bead of fire shoots out between the gathered giants as they mumble in their low rumbling voices to one another, and it explodes between their faces, just engulfing all three of their heads and everything in an explosion and a burst of fire and heat. So I'm gonna roll savings throws for these guys, and then we'll continue with our initiative, because that would have been bottom of the round. So we'll continue with our initiative that we'll Garl, Silence, Cloud, Giants, and our NPC. Okay? Everyone
Yep.
okay with that?
Sounds like a winner.
And everyone take your inspiration for the day. Your free inspiration. And as I said, it's a house ruled inspiration. It's not the by the books. It's if you roll a die 20 and you roll poorly, you can choose to use your inspiration and get to re-roll it.
Really?
Simple as that. It's I don't do it like the DM style, the DM guide way, or player's handbook way. I don't do that way. It's funner. So excuse too if you can hear my phone chatting, but I don't feel like wearing I don't feel like wearing 2 pairs of headphones today.
That doesn't bother me.
Oh, wait. I'm just going to a dice app here because I'll have to. Giant number 1, he rolls a 1 on his save. With his -1, he rolls a 0 on his dexterity savings throw. Oh! Second fellow rolls a 20. That might have been 2 20s. I'm looking at my roll history to make sure that was rolled right. Oh my god.
What?
I did. Out of the three giants, one of them rolled a 1, the other 2 rolled natural 20s.
Dang it.
2 of them picked up 1 giant and used them as a shield.
Basically. That
And-
one swallowed the fireball.
And because of the spells that this NPC has and the spell slots he has, you guys can tell that this fireball's a little hotter than standard.
Ooh, toasty.
Alrighty then.
Okay. The fireball goes off. Whomp. And the giants are beat at their heads in the flames, except for one who you see goes down, slams down to the ground in a smoldering heap. So, and that was he would have been giant number 2 officially, but he is dead, he goes down, still burning and smoldering. When that happens, the giants, you actually can kind of see some fear once that happens. The other two are injured from it, but they are still up, and that including the one that has the sack with the two companions inside of it.
Okay.
So it's back to the top of the round, Garl.
Yeah, which one has, is it number one that has the,
Number 3.
number 3 does, number one still up?
Yeah.
Okay. Garl will go ahead and put his short sword up and pull his short bow, and he's going to take a shot because that one has his hunter's mark on it, and he's going to take a shot at that one from his position.
Yeah, you're just like behind this stone cottage, and Silence is at the stone cottage adjacent to you, just across a narrow alley. Like you saw where she went and kind of hid in.
All right, that'll be a 16.
Yeah, and that's with advantage because he can't see you,
Okay, but
especially after that fireball.
if a 16 hits,
It does. But you could roll again. You might get a critical, and just let you know that your sneak attack will count.
No, I didn't get a critical. That's a hit, so sneak attack with it, and hunter's mark. Alright, he got 3 points for the hunter's mark. He got,
Do you give it all in one sum because they have no resistances or whatever?
Yeah, alright, no problem. I'm just trying to talk myself through it so I don't matter.
Oh no, okay, well no, that's fine. I'm just telling you, there's no resistances or vulnerabilities or anything, or so.
3, 5, 7, 10 points of piercing damage between sneak attack and hunter's mark.
And that's the one with the companions, correct?
No, that's the
Number
other
3 or
one.
number 1? Oh, that's number 1. Okay,
Number
yeah.
1, because that's the one that has
Okay.
the hunter's mark on, and we haven't killed
Yeah,
him,
okay,
so I
yeah.
can't move it.
Okay, so
And then with his cunning action, he's going to hide again.
okay, roll your hide.
Ooh, I rolled a 20 on the dice, so that's
Hide.
29.
Okay, yeah, there's just this, because like I said, they're just like rough piled houses. You just find like a uneven spot in the wall where it's almost perfectly gnome shaped. You're just like, hey, it's just a perfect indentation amongst the stack stones that you can just fit your little gray body in flat. Okay. Silence.
Yo.
You're in this alley, kind of behind this shack somewhere. You saw like from behind you and behind the cottage, like the light and the heat of a fireball spell, and you also heard the twang of Garl's bow. And the giants are just like simply just like around a corner. Like I figured only like 5-10 feet around the corner from the alley to spot them. So you have like basically the small cottage in between you and the giants, but you could easily just step around it to see them, to do something, or possibly even move to them if you wanted to. What would you like to do?
I'm not sure if they're damaged enough to take a sleep spell. Hang on a moment. Whispers. Where did I put that? Yeah, just a moment.
Yeah, I'm just getting my opening up giant if you're gonna make me do a savings throw so I know what I'm rolling.
Huh. Yes, I'll try Dissonant Whispers. Give it something to really get confused about. You need to
Okay.
make a wisdom saving throw.
A whiz. Alright.
Yes.
Oh, where? Oh, I rolled a 6, so I failed.
On a failed save, it takes 3d6 psychic damage.
Okay, roll it for me.
3d6. Hang on a moment. Doesn't say anything about modifiers, so I'll leave that off. Oof.
Correct.
11.
Okay. Which one are you doing it to? To number 1? The one that just got hit with the arrow?
That'll be a good idea, yes, just to add extra confusion.
Okay. So he kind of like, when he gets stung by this arrow, he kind of, and then you can easily like move back to your position. So technically you're
terrible pain.
Yeah, and you can hear like him. To you, it sounds like a roar, but it was like a moan of pain. And he puts his hand up to covers his one eye, and you can see he presses like the ball of his hand into his eyeball. Okay. Cloud, you're over at the ship. You could see that, like, you got like all these creatures swimming around, and you could see that there is like a couple of giants who are getting their nets from their belts. They're over at the edge of the gunnel, and it looks like that they're gonna try to like net up some of this stuff of these creatures.
Okay.
They're not doing it yet, but it looks like that's their intention.
I will have all of my octopus ready, their ink. And and
Okay.
just continue what they're doing.
Okay. So they're all just circling. Every now and then you can see like another fish, or even like a penguin joins the convection of marine life circling the ship. It's to the point now where, by observation, you can see that the actual surface of the water is beginning to, like, they are disturbing the surface of the water. Like, there's enough of them now. It's not like a rapids or anything, but you could tell, like, if there's a piece of ice floating, that there is something moving underneath. What do you want to do?
I will have them widen the circle.
Okay.
We're just gonna spread as thin as possible and continue.
All right.
And that's me for this turn.
All right. Giants. Over by the cottage. The one giant with the sack says something in a rumbling voice to the other one, and he points and he motions with his hand towards the cottages where Garl and Silence are concealing themselves. and he moves. Well, he can technically be a dash. He moves 100 feet away. It looks like he's heading towards the harbor. And he tells the other guy, and he says something to him and points over your direction. So that other giant, the number 1 giant, he is going to come over and begin. He's going to make his way. Like, it's kind of I won't say a tight squeeze, but it's like walking in between like a sofa and a coffee table, right? In someone's, family room or living room.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of a narrow way for him to walk between the cottages where you guys are, but he's going to come there and he's going to make a perception check to see. Okay. Oh, he does have a perception. There's no way he could see Garl, but when he does round the one hut, you're like silence. You're like, you have your back. They would have just freaked out and ran. But you're kind of like got this rain barrel. You got this little fenced animal pen behind this stone cottage where you are, and you've got your back against the stone cottage. When from your left, looming through this narrow alley between the huts, comes this insanely tall figure with blue skin and hair and beard that's black, covered in ice, chunks of ice.
Oh dear.
And you can see that it's wearing as armor, it looks like human-sized shields and breastplates that have been hammered flat with a rock and then laced together into a crude scale mail that is also been buffered with white furs, looks like of a white bear's. So bearskin and beaten armor as armor. And it has the biggest fucking great axe you've ever seen this close and in person. And this giant comes around the corner and it sees you, and in its eyes is like the most distasteful look. It's like the face a human makes before it crushes a cockroach.
Oh.
Oh dear, better run.
And this giant raises its axe, and because it's its turn, it is going to attack you. So this is, I think, going to be Silence's first time being attacked by a giant. So okay. It raises its axe in its hands and it swings right where you're hidden. And it hits you with like where is it? It hits you for 28 points of slashing damage. and the water barrel gets like kind of clipped too, and it like explodes, spraying water and wood and stones fall, and you feel surprisingly kind of nothing. It kind of like you when you get hit for that 28 points of slashing damage, you're actually surprised. You're like, huh? It's kind of feels like I got hit with a pillow. And you think it. It isn't really until the second blow for, unfortunately, another 28. That one jars you. That one almost takes you back into reality, and you feel your whole skeleton slam inside of its fleshy coating.
Wait a minute, I got 41 HP.
As everything goes black.
Ooh dear.
And okay, I gotta go with my different app here.
I'm gonna have to do some saving throws.
Okay. What you call it? Garl, you see, like, literally out of nowhere, you see a bolt of flames fire at this giant and hit it from, like, quite, like, very nearby. Like, wherever it came from, that figure had to, like, move out of the way when the giant came through the alley. The figure's only about 10-15 feet away from you, the invisible one that the flames came from. And they hit the giant that just lay silenced down.
How far is silence from me?
Only about 20 feet.
Okay,
Because it's like
great.
across the little alley and around the corner, kind of.
Just so I know the picture there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody's pretty damn close right now, right? Like, silence is about 20 feet away. So the giant is in between you guys. Like, the giant you could just, like, probably almost reach out and touch. And the other figure is only about 15 feet away, so you're all pretty tight right here.
Cloud's probably the furthest.
Cloud is the farthest. Cloud is, like, down in the harbor, so it'd be like
Yeah.
at least a few hundred feet away.
Yeah. Alrighty. So that is, it should be what, Cloud's turn, isn't it?
No, yeah, I don't.
NPC?
I did Darva. It's actually Garl's turn.
Oh. Is it? Okay.
Yeah, because I did the NPC, so it's back to the top. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Garl will go ahead and cast blindness on the giant.
You can.
As what?
Yep.
Okay, that's a DC 13 Constitution saving throw.
Okay, he failed.
Oh, he did? Okay, he's blind for 1 minute.
Okay. You can tell when he like the fire kind of burns him and he stands up with a start. But now you could see that he like, and he actually like, like again his hands go to his eyes and he almost begins stumbling.
Okay. And if she's about 20 feet, then Garl will move over to her.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see here. I don't. Let me double check and make sure on this one what that what it allows me to do on this. I know it allows me to hide, and like I don't know if it allows me to an extra dash is the. Is what I'm wondering. Yeah, I get a dash, so okay. I'll move over to her, and then using my cunning action, I will try to dash with her, dragging her out of the way or carrying her out of the way, depending upon her weight.
What's your strength?
My strength is not tremendous. I know that. That's why I said depending. I got a 10 strength.
Okay, 150. What do you weigh, Silence? Probably not much. Well, with gear, what kind of armor do you have?
I don't remember putting armor down. Or saying specific armor. Or knowing me, probably won't be metal or any of that kind of stuff. Probably just leather armor.
Okay. So you probably I won't so you can drag her away then. I'll say like
Right,
here we are. It's
anyways,
light armor.
Yeah, there you go. Light armor,
Yeah. So to make it kind of fair for doing the dash and everything, I'd say all I would be able to do is probably move another 25 feet where they're using all using between the weight and moving her instead of the 50.
Okay.
And I'll try to move. And try to move away from them back, like back over onto the same building.
Okay.
That I came from.
Oh, okay.
Which was about 20 feet, so that way getting her out of harm's way. And that will eat up every ounce of what I can do, unfortunately.
Okay. Yeah. Silence, it's your turn. I'm going to get you to roll. I think it's for the first time. It's a death savings throw.
It's a normal D20.
Since you have been... Yeah, it's just a normal D20 and it's unmodified. You want to roll a 10 or higher?
Ooh, nice. I got 13.
Okay, so that's one success. So you get one ticky to the good. Now, it's always... 3, you make it, you're stable, you're no longer in danger of dying. Or 3, you fail.
Yeah.
And you're dead.
So that's all marked of good. Good start.
Yeah. And a natural 20 gives you 1 hit point. You're conscious with 1 hit point. A natural 1 is considered 2 failures. And I've died like that. Lots. I have fucking died like that lots. Fucking roll 1 failure and then roll a 1. Yeah. It happens.
Yeah.
So you're 1 to the good. Okay, so Cloud?
Yeah. if all is well and good and everyone's still gathering their ranks now at a wider pace, they're going to start doing every time they're on the side of the ship, they're going to take a steep dive and come up when they're closer to the next end of the ship. Try to make the water very choppy.
Okay. It's
probably
a
gonna
lot
be
of
slow
water, but
process,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah. But it does have like the attention of the 8 giants still aboard the ship. It has the attention of the 8 giants aboard the ship. They're all kind of pretty much looking at this unusual behavior. And like I said, some are grabbing the nets and waiting for like I said, it's a big ship, 240 feet. So that's like got to be like 500 feet to go around it. So that can take a long time. So it looks like that they're waiting for like some of the bigger things, like the orca and the manta ray.
They better not touch my manta ray.
And they got their. Okay, did you want to do anything?
Yeah, I'll ready my action to respond to the first net. So if the net gets thrown in, I will at least move to that side of the boat.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, you can kind of see it's kind of both sides because there's 8 giants. So
Okay.
8 giants, there's probably like they're just thinking of catching a meal while they're waiting. After you goes giants. I'm gonna let a giant throw a net. So, did you want to take your ready action before he throws a net, or after the consequences?
I'll let my octopi take their ready action.
Okay.
So they're gonna release ink and both dash 120 in a circular fashion.
Net. Okay, so the giants will throw the nets, or like what you call with disadvantage. Even with the inky blackness of that the water turns, you can tell that both the orca and the manta ray are currently restrained under these giant nets made out of sinew and rock. They rolled really good on their throws with disadvantage. So that's the giants there. The other giant is currently blinded. Does he get a save?
Yes,
every turn?
Every turn he gets a save.
Ooh. Again, he rolled really good. But
Okay.
the save is at the end.
Yeah,
Or is it the beginning?
I believe it's the end. I'm double checking here just so we don't get it wrong.
Yeah.
At the end of each, yes. At the end.
Yeah, so he just stumbles around. And in fact, because like I said, it's pretty tight quarters, I am even going to roll a dexterity savings throw. It will not be high. I'll make it a DC of 5. Just to make sure he doesn't trip. Because just to have blindness suddenly thrust upon you, just BAM! It would be a start, but
It'd
Ah!
be disorienting.
Oh, he made it, but barely. I rolled a 6 minus 1 is 5. He made it
Good.
on the nose.
Good.
So you could see you're kind of hoping, because he does kind of back up and this low wall kind of hooks his foot, and you're kind of thinking to yourself, like, oh, I hope, you're hoping for him to go over, but he manages to like flail his arms and just catch his balance. And then you could see at the end of his turn that it looks like his vision has come back to him.
Oh, okay.
But he is done. Again, another whoomp of fire explodes around his head. The fireball goes up around his head again. You could feel the heat of it, but it's cast up high enough where it happens up over your head. Just his legs and lower half are sticking out. It engulfs around his head and face. He comes out of it standing, but Garl, he does not look good.
All right.
And it's top of the round. It's your go. You have your companion Silence pulled over to somewhat out of the way. I'm not going to say in safety, but with you on this side over here. Yeah, back to your... It's your go.
Garl will go ahead and reach into his pouch and pull out a good berry.
Okay.
And give it to Silence.
Okay, you can easily stuff it in her mouth and just mash it against like her palate or against her tongue with your finger, and you can feel the pop of the skin of the berry. Silence.
Yep.
You wake up with the odd feeling of someone having a finger in your mouth, and you can feel it pull out, and you awaken with 1 hit point, and you are prone on the ground. You have 1 hit point.
Oh, I've got a headache.
So your maximum hit points are what?
41 is my maximum hit point.
So you have basically 40 wounds. You have you're currently 1 hit point you have.
And Garl will then go ahead and he will take and do a move, 25 feet up, staying, and with the 25-foot movement, he's going to move up where the giant can see him, but stay 15 feet away from him. And
you can easily do that, yeah. And
in the opposite direction of where he left Silence.
Okay. Because you guys are like pretty close to like a street, you want to move towards the street or deeper into the huts? And do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to go like towards the street or deeper into the...
Garl will go towards the street because he's looking for the rest of the party where they might be, even though he knows that...
you could, you do it. He's a giant. You can see the giant, that walking towards the harbor.
And as he runs, does his first 25 feet of movement, he's going to holler up, "Tiny! I told you I'm a giant slayer!" And then He'll use his cunning action to do a dash, move 50 feet further out, down the road,
Okay.
kind of towards the ship and
Okay.
Cloud.
Yeah, general direction of the harbor.
Yep.
Okay. Silence. You're awake on the ground with 1 hit point, and you can still see and hear a giant not too far away. Like he's only about 20 feet away, 25 feet away. But you're not. But you're not in the area where you were.
That's a bit weird. Can I crawl away?
You can crawl away at half speed, or you can get up and walk away at half speed. Like basically, it's the same distance. Do you want to be crawling or do you want to be standing?
I think standing.
Okay, so you can get up and move, spell, or whatever. Make an attack or whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
You still have an action.
Let's see. Probably my best choice would be Shatter.
Okay.
Hang on, where did I put it? Yeah, da. Each creature in a 10-foot radius sphere centered at that point must make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. Okay. What's your spell DC? I think it's only 14 or something.
Spell DC?
Yeah. Which is the spell DC is 8 plus a proficiency bonus. Current proficiency bonus is +3, right?
Yeah.
So 8 plus 3 is 11 plus your charisma bonus because you're a bard,
which is never +3. Yeah.
So 14. So unfortunately, he made the save, but he still takes half damage. Correct?
That is correct. Hang on a moment. 3d8. 3, no modifiers, d8. 9. So half of that.
Okay.
Well, I'm a bit disorientated.
Kaboom! And you can hear it echoes like it's a sharp crack. And you can hear it like echo through the the stony terrain and buildings of the village.
Yep, I can hear it.
And even the natural crater of it. So even Cloud, you're like in the harbor and you can hear from behind you, crack. You can hear it echo through over the village into the harbor. And you can even see even like the giants seem to hear that even. After silence goes giants. That guy, he's not dumb, and our NPC technically isn't hiding. So our NPC the giant takes a swing at him, and you see that the axe just wham slams into the ground and chips of rock spray out everywhere, but no sign of blood.
Ooh.
And he's gonna take. Where the fuck? Why can't I find it? There it is. Huh? And it takes another swing. It just, frustration, raises its axe, smashes it down to the ground again. Stone and rock chips and flies up. And nothing. No sign of blood. No screams of pain. So, as far as you could tell, the end, Darva was missed. Two giants, so technically 4 giants. This is back at the vessel. And 2 of them jump out on either side of the ship. So 2 are gone starboard to where the manta ray is, and 2 have gone port to where the orca is. And that's, they just jump over the guy. It takes them like their movements and stuff to go out over to where these animals are restrained. And you see that also does scatter a lot of your fishies away and stuff too. Just these giants come and walk through the midst of them and are going to recover the netted animals so that they may feast. What do you want to do, Cloud? Or not, what do you want to do? You see that as they're going out to get them. I forgot, it's whose turn? Okay, Darva's turn. Oh, I gotta look. I gotta see what spells. Huh. One more whump of fire. That's... Oh, and the giant fails his savings throw. And once this last fireball hits him, again up high, so his lower half is sticking out, it just engulfs his head. You feel the heat and see the light, and silence. You see the giant just collapse, lifeless, sideways, tipping into a hut, taking down this stone hut, so that rubble goes flying everywhere, and the smash of the body, like you could feel it through your feet, feel the vibrations through the ground.
Oh, thank goodness it's dead.
And yeah, so that was them, but I kind of want to think I'm going to handle things slightly different now. I think I'm going to take things out of initiative.
Okay, if that works with the narrative.
Because it's pretty much... The one giant that has your companions is already, like, technically hundreds of feet ahead of you guys, and he's approaching the harbor. Where currently, Cloud's plan is going on with the addition that giants have begun netting some of the wildlife. So either you guys will, I don't know. I just think I want to take it out of initiative right now. Things are still happening, but what we need to do is figure out what's going on. So this giant falls in silence. Soon after, like immediately after, you hear Darva come up to you, and you feel them like grasp you and says, "Are you okay? Here, I have a potion."
I'm a bit
And you
better
feel
now.
it, and you feel it place something into your hand and curl your fingers around. The one giant that has your friends, I believe it's getting away, but you're in no condition, my dear, to follow.
True.
But quick, let's get your friend Garl.
Yeah, that's. We need to do that. So yeah, I'm guessing I take the potion.
I will let you roll. It will do. Roll 4 die 4, like 4d4 plus.
4 die 4.
Yeah. Plus
Just plain.
4. Plus 4. 4 die 4 plus 4.
Okay, I got an 8. So plus 4.
4 die 4
12?
plus 4 is 12. Yeah, you rolled, yeah. You heal 12 hit points.
Okay, so I'm up to 13 now then.
Correct. And you feel like you drink it and they just grab the potion from your hand. It says, "Come," and they grab your wrist and kind of pull you the way that Garl went around the corner.
Well, I'm on the road now.
Yeah, going out towards the street, yeah.
Yep.
Garl, you could hear like the voice of the Dragonborn call out for you to, and you could see, if you glance behind, you could see coming along, strangely kind of trotting along with her arm out, strangely, but you can tell someone invisible is kind of yanking them along.
All right. Garl will he'll do his movement plus the dash from the cunning action. Give him 75 foot of movement, and towards the giant that has his compadres. And as a free action, as he's running there, he's going to be hollering at the giant in common. "Stop them here, my friends! I'll slay you like I've slain the rest of these giants, you worm! You're tiny, just like your mother's ogre's lovers."
Nice insult.
Oh yeah, well, I'm trying to get him held on up, but that's the intent that Garl's doing right now. That sucks up pretty much every action.
Well, I don't know if you heard, but I'm just taking it out of initiative even.
Oh,
it's just
yeah.
Because it's like at a point where it's like, because their movement is too fast.
Yeah.
Even at 75, you can't. If he's moving his way to the, Darva is like calling you to come.
I understand the picture.
Yeah.
It's just that's what Garl's doing at the moment because he's kind of decided on that, trying to draw the giant with the friend's back and noticing something invisible coming up behind him and not knowing exactly what it is.
Well, he's moving 100 around. You're moving 75 around, and then they're following you at 60 around.
But this is just at that. At this juncture, if he sees that it's not going to work, he's going to stop and go into a normal movement, slowing himself down, and so he doesn't get exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
And try to think of a better on the field plan to save his friends.
Okay, well, eventually Silence and Darvel will catch up with you.
Yeah.
And, like, eventually they come trotting up behind you. And you can see Silence looks like, a little worse for wear, but is alive.
Oh, okay.
And you can see that when suddenly the invisible figure drops the invisibility.
Oh, okay.
And says, there's still so many giants throughout the city. I'll try to distract them and do what I can. But you two, go, get your friends. And he casts a spell. And each of you have fly.
Oh, nice.
He casts fly on each of you.
Oh, that's really going to confuse our friends when we rescue them.
So now, if you want a beeline, I'll let you catch a giant before he gets to the ship.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
How does that sound?
That sounds fair enough.
Okay, I'm gonna go have a bio because I'm still on morning coffee here. So.
All right. I'm about out of spells.
Yeah, well, that did not go anyway. I think I lost like 5 turns.
Well,
That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
Was that because we dropped out of initiative?
Oh no, I was behind at least 2 or 3 turns before then. I was before the Giants.
Yeah.
Oh well. I mean, I can still stop them, but I think you guys should just do it, and I'll just...
Well, to be honest, we're focusing solely on trying to focus, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Or Garland is on the one that has, what was it, Nicanor? Their Mike's character? Nicodemus.
Yeah.
Nicanor.
Nicodemus. Hey, that's how my old mind works. It gets there eventually. And then Ryan's character, and it has Ryan's character, which is what, Far Eye.
Yep.
See,
I
that was a
don't
little
spell
Far Eye.
Yeah.
I don't know how he spells it.
Because, like, he's Scottish, so, like, we hear Far Eye, but it could be something completely different.
Yeah. I'm not 100% sure. I'll guarantee. The only thing I'll guarantee is that it starts with F, it has an A, and it has an R someplace in there.
Well, I definitely heard Far Eye too.
Yeah. No, but what Alex is talking about is how Ryan's spelling it is all.
Yeah, like is it
Oh,
Fareye or is it something different? Because what if it's like fiery? You know?
Then he would have said fiery.
Have you ever heard Ryan say anything?
I've been to university with him, and I've done few years of D&D with him. I think I know how he speaks.
Oh, all right.
But he may spell I in a different form, is what I'm thinking more than anything. Whether it's EYE or a straight I, like far with an I. I think that was more or less the point that Alex was trying to figure out.
Yeah.
It's moot.
But nonetheless, we're trying to save them too.
Well, I think the main objective is to save them.
Oh, that could be it.
Because, well, the village has been attacked by them several times before. They'll survive. I'm not sure how our friends will survive if we don't save them.
Well, I think there's options across the board with the module with this. Whether they're captured and enslaved or like that, and then we have a decision at that point if we're going to try to free them or try to buy them back or such. So, or just let them go.
Oh, there'll be an end to their characters.
Well, not necessarily. They may,
true.
for them, they may be able to escape or earn their freedom.
Okay, Darvak, like I said, uses a 4th level spell slot.
Okay.
And casts Fly upon each of you and says, like panting from like running after you, says like, you have 10 minutes that you can fly. You have a fly speed of 60.
Okay.
Nice.
So you can catch up to the giant before he makes it to the harbor, like before he's in the water, wading his way. And And Cloud, you notice that too, that there's like a giant approaching, and you notice that like, what's that in the air? And you notice it's a bird, it's a plane, it's my companions.
We've sprouted
You can
wings.
see, like, that they are flying nearby, but you guys can catch this giant if that's what you want to do.
Well, more or less, but let's jump over to Cloud and get him caught up with what he's trying to get accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just waiting to see what happens.
Oh, all right. Well, then, when as Garl is flying, when he gets within 80 feet, he'll go ahead and move his hunter's mark over to this creature.
Okay, because exactly, I was gonna say the same thing. We'll just continue, and we'll pick up initiative when we need it, right?
Okay.
So if you want to do that, you can. You can bonus action move your hunter's mark,
and then he'll at 80 feet. I don't think that's a disadvantage shot, but he would. Well,
I would even give you advantage, because he wouldn't even. I don't even know if he'd notice you're coming, because he's just going to the.
And he'll pull his bow and shoot an arrow, trying to harry the giant, and that'll be a let's see, that's 23.
Oh, that hits.
And that will be 7, 10, 11 points of damage.
All right.
And then I'm going to step on back and let the others get their game on.
So, Silence. You have, as a player, like kind of some say where you want to be located. What's your distance from the giant that has your companions, and what's your elevation as well? I kind of want to know your general. Like, are you flying high in the sky, or are you just flying just over the rooftops? Like, presume that the
Highest in the
giant is
sky, I'd
like,
say.
if the giant is 25 feet tall,
Yeah.
right? So
I'd say up in the sky, definitely above.
it's your go. You can.
I need something to stop him in his tracks, so that will either be sleep, I'm not sure if that worked, probably not, or Tasha's hideous laughter, which I think that would probably be the best one.
And I think, is that a wisdom again?
Hideous laughter. Yep, that's a wisdom saving throw.
Okay, you said that was a will, right? I'm sorry, I was listening to this.
Wisdom saving throw, yes.
Okay. What? Oh, there it is. Well, 10. He failed.
Yes! Hang on a
He
moment, what was
suddenly
that?
just a thunderous roar of laughter, and I believe he falls prone, and he's like,
yeah.
So,
Being incapacitated and unable to stand up for the duration.
and incapacitated, yeah. So he's just there clutching his ribs, laughing uproariously, kicking his feet, like laughing like maniacally. And okay, Cloud, you see, like, this giant is like is coming fast towards the harbor, and your companions are strangely flying, pursuing it, when this giant collapses to the ground, laughing maniacally. It's your go.
I'm just gonna stick to the side of the ship camouflaged and hold my action.
Okay. So giants. The one giant, does he get to re-roll his roll? Silence?
At the end of each of its turns, and each time it takes damage.
Of its turn. So
Yes.
the giants that are in the harbor gather the nets, and they're dragging the manta ray and the orca in the nets towards the ship. And this giant, he's just laughing, and at the end of his turn, Darva is somewhere concentrating on the fly spell.
Yeah.
Let's hope that doesn't change, eh? Top of the round, Garl, you got this one giant prone. Now listen, normally they say if you're prone, like, yeah, I mean, like, melee attacks have advantage against you, and like, but range attacks have disadvantage. Well, I'm considering that it's a giant and it's prone and you're flying and you're elevated. So if I would let you attack with advantage because it is prone. Because it's laying on the ground and you're like totally elevated.
My question is, did it release my compadres?
No, it's still they're still in the sack attached to its belt. Like the sack is stuffed in and roughly tied to the belt.
Let's see here. Garl will put his bow up.
Okay.
And pull his short sword.
Okay.
And what he's going to attempt is to get down about on his fly with his fly speed and everything.
Yeah.
Down about flying like nap of the earth, real close to the road, almost looking like he's running.
Yeah.
But he's flying with his sword out, and he's going to look to try to do a flyby if he has the movement and slice the bag. So, however, if possible, however you want to work it, and just let me know.
Roll me an attack roll.
Okay. All right, that would be 11 on the dice with, let's see here, his short sword modifier is 6, that's a 17.
Roll your damage.
Okay. 14 points.
You manage to slash open this leather sack, and everything spills out.
Okay.
Like and including your companions. Like when this giant gets up, everything will be on the ground. It'll have to regather it. And, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Are you gonna fly out of its area?
Well, the intent would be to try to make a straight run, but depending upon the movement, the amount of movement that you're allowing me to do with all the actions.
I would let you, but it would get an attack of opportunity with disadvantage because it's prone. That's the only thing.
Okay.
Because it's no longer incapacitated or anything, so it would take a swing at you as you went by. Although it is with disadvantage because it's prone.
That's fine.
That's why I want to know if you're actually leaving the.
Fair is fair. On that, as far as that was my intent, is just to use this new fun ability and try to do that. And so
it rolled an 18 and a 20, so with disadvantage, 18. Does that hit you?
Yes, it does.
Not bad. 24 points of slashing damage as it clips you as it swings wildly as you fly by, spilling the contents of the sack. And as it's rolling around and flailing around, you can see that like everything is pouring out. We'll even roll to see what else spills out after. Okay.
That's pretty sizable. But there again, they're giants. They're supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, and it could be way worse.
Yeah. That I know.
No. And 2 attacks around.
Thank God it's an attack of opportunity.
Yeah. And like I said, it's still prone because it didn't get to go after, so.
But that's what Garl's doing.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you slash open the sack and spill the contents onto the ground. However, you end up getting clipped by the axe as you swoop on by. Silence. You can see this all transpiring. What is it you would like to do?
Well, I'd like to grab my friends, but the axe is going to come close. So, let's see.
This giant is prone as well, and you're flying above. You can see it sprawled out on the ground quite clearly. It's like a football field, like a football pitch.
So if I went down and grabbed one of my friends,
shoot.
it will still get an opportunity attack on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's put it this way. Not this round, but you could not fly far enough to get down, get your friend, and then get out of the way.
Yeah, I was thinking
That's
that.
you.
Hang on a minute, is it damaged enough for me to try sleep on it?
This one still looks pretty feisty. You're not very confident about.
Well, I'm going to try Shatter. That's another good one with a bit of hit in it. And that's a Constitution saving throw.
Unfortunately, it rolled a 19. But roll your damage.
Okay, so that's 3d8. 14, half of that.
Okay. Got it. 7. Okay, rack goes off again. And Cloud. Giants are hauling away the manta ray and the orca to the ship. They're gonna be loading it up.
Alright, I'm going to continue to hold my action.
Okay. The giants. The one giant is gonna get up using half of his movement. He's then gonna realize that the contents of his sack are spilled. There's the two of you flying around.
Oh dear, he's going to put 2 and 2 together.
He's gonna begin gathering up the contents of his sack. Like, you keeping a wary eye, like, for especially Garl, because Garl's like coming in, flying around like a wasp in the middle of July, ruining a picnic. So that's it. He just squats down and he begins picking stuff up and kind of, in fact, one of the first things he picks up is Far Eye.
Dang it. Wait, how many sacks has he got on him?
Oh, he doesn't. He's just gathering into his arms. He's just picking stuff up off the ground.
Ah.
Picking up the contents of it. And that's it. He's picking up the stuff and he's looking around. He's especially watching you, Garl, and it's your turn, Garl.
Garl would try to fly around towards his back and try to kind of land or hover up over the base of his neck and attack right there at the neck.
Okay, so you fly around to 6 o'clock and his head's, you could see him squatting down and his head's kind of twisting around trying to follow you, kind of looking this way and that way. And go for it.
Alright, that's a 19 on the dice plus his
Hold that. That hits.
Yeah. And 6, 8, 9 points of piercing, slashing, and
Okay, he actually, like, not Far Eye, but he drops some of the other belongings that he was gathering as his hand, flinches up and his hand snaps back behind his neck and swats at the arrow, breaking the shaft in his hide. And as he kind of picks at it for a while and pulls it out of his flesh and continues picking everything up.
alright, that's about all I'm gonna be able to do outside of the cunning action of maybe trying to hide around his neck, head, back area while flying,
Uh-huh.
if that's possible.
Repeat?
Using the cunning action.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to try to hide around the back of his head, around his, whether his neck or around his hair.
Yeah, I would. Well, wait, you're not a halfling. I gotta remember that. Roll me a stealth
Okay.
with disadvantage
All right.
because you're basically hiding behind his own body. Like, there's a lot of the disadvantages for the.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm asking if it's possible.
Yeah.
Even on that. So that will be a 17.
Okay. We'll keep that number in mind.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're basically hiding behind his own head, like.
Yeah.
If he's like, and dipping below his shoulders, kind of area, so that. Yeah. Okay. Silence. You can see that Garl is like being a big distraction to this giant. Like, the giant knows he's there, but he doesn't know exactly where. He can't see him. He's kind of like looking around and feeling around and turning, and Garl is matching his movements, kind of darting, staying out of the field of view of this giant that has your companions. He's clutching Far Eye in one hand. The rest of the junkies drop back on the ground. And Nicodemus is there, scattered amongst, like, just the personal belongings, and there's Far Eye clutched in his hand.
Well, I suppose I'll swoop down and pick up my friend who's on the ground, because I'm pretty sure the giant will notice me sneaking someone from his arms.
Okay. Nicodemus is relatively smallish. I think he's probably only about, What's your strength, by the way?
Strength, hang on, 10. No modifiers.
Okay, he's pretty much would be at the limit, I would figure. So, it is pretty hard to move him. But yeah, you can swoop down and gather him by, like, an arm and around the ribs, and and you begin moving away, and I'm gonna let the giant roll a perception here.
I really hope it doesn't notice.
We'll see how I'll represent it by a disadvantage. Okay. He says, "Hey, get back here!"
Dang it.
And he doesn't make an attack with his axe. He uses an attack. He reaches out and he grabs, and he's going to make a grapple.
Oh, man.
I want you, Silence,
Uh-huh.
to roll me. It's your choice, either a strength athletics or a dexterity acrobatics, which means either your a die 20 plus either your strength bonus or your dexterity bonus with your proficiency bonus if you're proficient, and it's your choice, so whichever one is higher, right? Like, what's your strength? 10. What's your dexterity?
14.
14, so it's plus 2. Do you have proficiency in acrobatics?
Hang on a moment, need to find that. No, I don't think I put that down.
No, but you have your jack of all trades, which is plus
Yeah.
2. So you are going to roll a die 20
4.
plus 4.
Okay, hang on.
And I'm going to roll strength athletics.
Well, thanks to the modifier, I got 21.
What did you get?
Thanks to the modifier, 21.
Ooh. And this huge hand just reaches out to grab you. Like, it has Far Eye in one hand, it's just reaching out to grab you. With an athletics of plus 9.
Oh dear.
And I rolled a 13. You managed to be nimble enough to actually fly out of currently harm's way. It'll have to move to get to you.
Oh, good.
So your nimbleness helped you out. Cloud, you can see that it's doing that. It has 2 of your unconscious companions. It has Garl flying and shooting arrows at him, and there is Silence has flown down, retrieving one of your companions, and narrowly escapes being grabbed right out of the air by this giant. Just like a Disney movie. Just snatch you right out of the sky. Like a bug.
I will break the water line, have one of my octopi come swim directly under me, drop concentration, and cast plant growth to make everything in a 100-foot radius difficult terrain.
Okay. Everything within 100 feet, which is like marine, like flora. Sorry, you got the fauna gathered. Now the flora all sprouts. All this, what at first was just like little tiny, like short green grass amongst the gravel at the bottom of the harbor, now just erupts into just a soup of like greenery. It just becomes like, as thick as soup now. Like the seaweed just sprouts into a giant mat of greenery that fills this 100-foot area of harbor of water. So you said the water is like, whatever, 12, 15 feet deep, and now it's just thick with seaweed. Are startled by the sudden burst of growth. Like, even the ones aboard the ship look shocked. This is like, clearly there's something not natural happening, right? Like, first the gathering of the wildlife, and now this. And okay, he is going, the giant that has a far eye, he is gonna stand up with far eye in his hand and his axe on the other. He's gonna leave the rest of the stuff, and he again is gonna start making his way to the ship. And he wades into the water, into the harbor, into the, like, waist deep, just holding far eye out of the water, and his axe in the other hand, and he begins wading his way through the water to the ship. And he's like about 200 feet away, but so he's not quite in the overgrowth yet, but he is like wading into the water about mid-thigh on him right now, going towards the ship with far eye in one hand, and he's just getting the fuck away from you guys. You guys keep flying and shooting arrows. He's just... So that's it. He's done. Back to Garl. Garl, you now got him flying. Him wading through the water now with far eye in his hand.
Garl
breaking through the ice.
Garl fly up 60 foot, and then he to get Garl a little closer for his bow, and he's going to try to, if he can see the hand that has far eye in it, he's going to try to place his shot onto that hand. Hopefully, he's what Garl's hoping is maybe have him drop far eye. So that's what Garl's going to attempt.
Repeat it again, so I can.
Okay. Garl's going to move up 60 feet with his flight movement, which still puts the giant number 3 a fair piece away from him. But
he's kind of slowing down as he enters the water and stuff like that. Water eats up movement.
But Garl's going to try basically a called shot on the hand if he sees can get a shot at the hand that has far eye in it.
Okay.
And what Garl's thoughts are is he's hoping that if he hits, that possibly he'll let far eye drop. But that's what Garl's going to attempt.
Okay, try it.
And Garl misses. I don't believe a 10 will hit.
It does not. Does not.
There's a wasted arrow. Oh, well.
Well.
No.
It goes skittering off. Yeah. It's either floating in the water or sitting on some ice somewhere. Silence. This giant has begun wading into the water to take your companion back to the ship. And you have Nicodemus clutched in your arms, his limp little goat body. He looks like he's like okay, like he's not in danger of dying. He's just like unconscious and needs some rest to recover. Like he's not an immediate threat of dying.
I Okay, good.
Did you want to place him somewhere safely, or did you want to do something to him and do something to the giant, or did you want to?
Well, I want to do something to the giant, obviously.
Okay.
What should I use? Tasha's hideous laughter again? Or distant whispers? Because I'm pretty sure I'm not asleep yet. The giant's not damaged enough to fall for sleep.
Doesn't really look like it yet.
Yeah.
And he's been taking he's been getting pricked with arrows, but not much.
I'll try Tasha's hideous laughter again. At least to try and get him prone. Let's see, that is a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. Ah!
What?
14! That's exactly what he needed. He made it right on the nose.
Dang it!
Yeah, you feel like you sing the song or strum or whatever, wiggle your finger, and it just doesn't. You just don't feel it latch on to his mind the way it does when it succeeds. You're just like, aw, because he made it just exactly. He rolled a 14. Cloud, you see this one giant waiting in the water. He's coming, making his way towards the ship. He has one of your companions unconscious in his right hand, and he has his axe in his left hand. And he's holding them both out of the water as he's wading in, making the way to the overgrown area.
I'm gonna hold the spell action until he makes it into my sphere of influence.
Okay. Okay, he's just waiting his way, making it closer, but he's not quite there, but he's just on the outskirts of it on his go. The other giants that are the two that are in the water with the orca and the manta ray, have the orca and manta ray at the boat, but they aren't loaded yet because it's anyways, the greenery has slowed them down. Well, back to the top, Garl.
All right. Does Garl look around? He's he's biting at himself mentally about missing that shot, and he's going to go ahead and try the same thing if possible.
Okay, roll to hit.
That is an 18 on the die plus 7. That'd be 25.
What did you roll?
25.
Oh, that hits. Roll your damage.
Do I have an ally there that's giving me advantage? Or
No.
Like that? Okay, so no sneak attack. So that is 7 points of piercing damage.
Okay, and I gave him a Constitution savings throw that I was arbitrarily making up, and I rolled a 26. So
okay.
I don't think you see it stick in the back of the hand, but it doesn't cause him to
okay.
to drop far eye.
That's all right. He's trying what he can.
Yeah.
Didn't work. Gotta think of something else.
But it's still 7 points damage. Yep.
Yep.
I got that. Yeah. Silence.
Yep.
It's your turn. You can see this giant is still wading through the water. He's getting near oddly overgrown area surrounding the ship. Like, all the seaweed has grown into a thick, heavy soup of seaweed and marine life that he will soon be entering. He is Far-Eye, the tiefling in one hand and his axe in the other, wading through the water. What would you like to do?
Again, I need to slow him down, so it'll be back to the hideous laughter.
He made it. I rolled a 16.
Dang it!
I'm rolling good on the saves. How many of those spells do you have? How many have you used?
Quite a few, I'm pretty sure.
Because that was a lot of Tasha's hideous laughters already. That was
Yeah.
like...
I have to leave that behind.
Well, I'm just saying, like, that's what level spell is that? A first level?
Yeah.
So you probably have, what, 4 first level spell slots?
Yeah.
So, I guess that
Dang, I
was...
have to leave that.
Okay. Cloud, you're still waiting for the guy to enter your sphere of influence, as you labeled it?
I'll go ahead and continue to hold my action.
Because, okay, if you do that, then it's his go, and he does that. He then comes far enough into the water where he begins having to fight his way through the mass of overgrown seaweed. He does enter your sphere of influence.
Okay. And I'm going to double my sphere with another plant growth.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna
Like around him?
Just in the same area. Gonna make it overgrow again.
Okay. Okay. Now this time, the seaweed actually begins, like, growing up into, like, almost like mounds. Like, it's actually, like, rising above the water. Like the level of the seaweed is now becoming higher than the water level in this area. Like, it's literally becoming, like, a physical mass. Like, in fact, like, yeah, he's, like, he isn't stopped, but he's only, like, really moving, like, 10 feet around. Like, it's like pretty much he's using 5 feet for every foot from this point on. That makes sense, because that's how they do it in 5e. Yeah, so he's using like 5 feet of extra movement for every foot. So it's like super duper thick, like noodle soup. Top of the round, Garl.
Garl will. He's just gonna try to shoot the giant again, but he'll look. He's gonna look around and to see if he sees Nicodemus.
Because you would. Nicodemus is in Silence's arms.
Oh, okay.
So, and Silence isn't hiding, so
Okay. Then
Silence is just. Yeah,
he'll
he'll
just-
Nicodemus. And Nicodemus for being like unconscious from like basically nearly dying from being hit by a giant. Looks actually quite content and relaxed,
Okay.
just in her arms.
So he's got
Looks like he's just sleeping.
Garl shoot at the giant thing. That
Okay.
has fire eye.
Yeah.
Ooh, that hit. That's a 23.
Yep.
That will be. Do I have advantage?
Why?
Well, I didn't
No,
know.
I mean, I'm a little asking, like, what?
The
Tell me with some player, why would you have advantage right now? Some player agency.
yeah, and that's because thinking because he's seen the plant life in the ocean bay floor grabbing up around. Just wondering if he had advantage, so he could use his sneak attack. But if not, just so I can tell you the damage, one way or the other.
I don't know. Like I said, player agency. If you can give me a reason why you would, then.
Well, that's the only reason there was the plant life grabbing him and holding him.
Okay.
Was the only thought that I kind of had, if that would allow for the sneak attack damage. Since,
Okay. Yeah.
and, okay.
Then yes.
All right, then that's 10, 16, 19 points of damage.
Okay, you hit it quite solidly. You just see like the fletchings of your arrow sticking out. You sink the entire shaft. That was a good hit.
And that's about all that he's going to do. He's going to inch closer and closer as long as he can fly, but he's going to try to stay well out of range because Garl is definitely bloodied.
Yeah. Silence. You can see that this giant is like nearly but not entangled by like the overgrown seaweed in the harbor as he's like trying to make his way to the ship. Like it's just so overgrown that you see he's like come to start using his axe and actually chopping through some of the seaweed to perhaps help his progress. He wants to make it to the ship before he gets riddled to death. What would you like to do with Nicodemus clutched in your arms as you're flying?
I think I'll use Vicious Mockery. It's one of my cantrips.
Okay.
So just use a string of insults against them. Wisdom saving throw.
That's also a wisdom? Okay.
Yep.
This is an indication in a way you're not going to get anywhere else. Most people who cover this stuff don't actually care about
I lost my giant here. Oh yeah. Okay. Wisdom saving throw +3. Fuck! 21.
Dang it.
Ukraine not looking so good. So let's head down tonight.
So what are the conditions on a successful?
Oh, now
It doesn't say Vargas, it just means no damage.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we tried to push our influence upon him, but it just, once again, doesn't work. Maybe this guy's adrenaline is flowing or something, and his will has become a little bit more impenetrable.
Oh, we're being attacked on all sides.
And Cloud.
I'm gonna have my octopus push me up out of the water. Gonna take flight and fly to the center of my sphere of influence and hold my action for the giant to be underneath me.
Oh, okay. With all these weeds he has to wade through, it could be quite some time, but you will be able to intercept him before he gets to the ship. Because, yeah, like, the ship is, like, more or less his destination. He has, like, well, what is it, 100 feet of overgrowth between? And he's using 5 feet. Yeah, it'll take him quite some time. You can be anywhere there. And your octopus, when your octopus like moves, your octopus is like one of the few things you see. Like there's, because like the weeds are so overgrown that the octopus can just, you know, it could just go like and scuttle and slither across the top. And okay, so that's silent. Yeah. The giant, he hacks and chops, and yeah, he's pretty much gonna be able to go like 10 feet only, making his way as he like chops and hacks and wades and pushes aside the overgrowth as he's like wading towards the ship. The guys have now just loaded up the manta ray and the orca. They've pulled them over the gunnels of the ship, and they are hoisting themselves back into the ship. Top of the round, Garl. You got this giant chopping and wading his way through.
Garl's going to take another shot, but this time he's going to try to, and he hasn't been too successful shooting the hand and having him drop. But that, if he has a good shot at the arm of the giant, he's going to take a shot at the arm.
Okay.
And he misses.
Okay.
With an 11.
Well, he is kind of flailing around a bit more as he's like chopping through these overgrown leather-like seaweed strands. Silence.
Yep.
What would you like to do? It's all up to you.
Oh dear God.
Oh dear God. It's all up to you.
You think they would leave trouble alone? Of course not. One of their response today was
Huh?
Despite another big accusation with no corroboration against Brett Kavanaugh, the left still wants him impeached. Robert Brett said they would confiscate their guns Democrats want to push red flag laws, but exempt no gang members, and then finally continue to investigate, attempt to obstruction of investigation into a crime that never happened. This is the assault on our Constitution, rule of law, and liberty that your cell phone carrier is helping.
Still can't use sleep.
But
Damn
K-Mobile
it.
is the only cell phone company fighting insanity and donating causes you believe in. With plans as low as $25 per month, get nationwide service with US-based customer service. There's still time for you to get a Moto E3 Play for only $5 a month. But they're running out, so don't wait. And backed by popular demand, they waive activation on up to 2 lines, but only when you use the offer code BLAZE. Switching is easy. Go to patriotmobile.com/blaze or call their US-based team at 877-367-7524. That's 877-367-7524 or patriotmobile.com/blaze. So Joe Biden's a hunter. He was a consultant and a board member for this Ukrainian energy company, a company called Burisma. And Burisma is riddled with corruption charges.
I'm toying with the idea of using prestidigitation, or whatever you pronounce it, and using the harmless sensory effects option. Using so that the giant would have like a arm twitch big enough to drop what it has.
They would take action against the state prosecutor. They did. So they said they won't have to press themselves. I said, I'm not going to go.
I'm not sure if it would work.
They said, you know, you're not the president. That's the call. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting $1 billion. I said, you're not getting $1 billion.
To my understanding, that's not how prestidigitation works.
Yeah, that's what I was
that
thinking.
you create an effect, but not upon a person, right? Like you can't cause someone like.
I know what it is. I mean, because remember,
Like-
I love the massive scandal with Trump. Was that he allegedly said look ordinance. If you don't investigate...
Read what's your other cantrip you have? Vicious is it vicious
There's
mockery?
mockery, prestidigitation, and true strike.
Read Vicious Mockery. Doesn't that have a secondary effect as well?
The initial string of insults laced with subtle enchantments to create that a creature you can see within range. If a target can hear you, though it may not understand you, it must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or take 1d4 psychic damage and have disadvantage on the next attack roll it makes before the end of its next turn.
That's if it fails, it takes damage, plus it gets disadvantage on attack.
Ruler just... How does that have to use Vicious Mockery?
Okay, I will roll Wisdom save.
I think the problem that we've got again with this issue is that it's a distraction from the fact that, as far as I'm concerned,
9 failed. Roll
It
your
failed.
What is it? 2d4? Well, it's d4, and I think you guys are
1d4, yes, but once I've reached level 5, it's 2d4.
correct.
We're at level 6, correct?
Yeah.
So that'd be 2d4. Hang on. 6.
Okay.
I have a disadvantage.
Okay. It like kind of flinches and kind of swoons a bit from what it's doing. And after your go is Cloud.
I'm gonna wait until he moves another 10 feet in, and then I'll have my spell action go off.
Okay, well that'll pretty much be, if you wait, it's his go, so he would move the 10 feet so you can do your spell.
Okay. I cast Speak with Plants, and I have the plants drown him.
Nice.
Alright,
That's nasty.
I'm gonna roll him in athletics.
Ah, shit, he can swim.
Well, the thing that drowning, if you got a high con with a good con modifier, it'd take a while.
Well, it's become like kind of like a wrestling match, right?
Yeah.
And so far, he rolled pretty good. So it hasn't hauled him into the water yet, but you can see that it's become a struggle. Okay. So that was like his go, and so that was your go. So it's back to top of the round. Garl. No. Yeah, keep your advantage, because for sure now, because he's like right in the seaweed.
Carl will try to shoot him in the arm. There's holding far eye. Alright, that'd be 15.
That hits.
Okay. Ooh, that's a good roll.
Gesundheit.
That's 12.
Thank you very much.
16, 19 points.
Okay. I gotta roll this here.
Oh, I'm almost out of arrows. My quiver is getting light.
Okay, you hit him like kind of like in right in the elbow joint.
Oh, okay.
Right in the funny bone.
Alright.
And his hand does twitch, and he does drop far eye. That makes like a splat sound on this overgrown writhing mass of like herring and seaweed.
Ooh.
Well, at least they won't drown. Too much.
Okay, so here's my
is he in the water?
Well, like I said, kind of, but there's so much seaweed that he hasn't sunk below the surface.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a writhing mass, so he will eventually. But yeah,
Okay.
but I gotta state my pun first.
Go ahead.
What do you get when you boil a funny bone?
No idea.
A laughing stock. No, that's humorous. Okay, yeah, so he just plops down onto this writhing mass of seaweed and stuff like that. He's no longer in the giant's grip as a giant is dealing with like kind of trying to chop and wade his way through before the stuff pulls him under water. Silence. You have Nicodemus clutched in your arms.
Well, I can't carry another person. I have to take Nicodemus to safety.
I know. And it's your goal.
Yes, and I'll take Nicodemus to safety.
Okay, you're gonna fly him back to shore?
Yes.
Okay.
Thousands of dollars a year.
You fly him back to shore, and you can see that from whence you guys came, you turn around to go back that way, you can see that there are.
And of course, the answer is influence.
I mean, not in the immediate vicinity, but approaching. So that could be like even like, you know, a couple 100 meters away, right? They are giants. A couple more giants approaching with like overloaded sacks, and like one of them is even carrying like a dead cow, and it's like over its shoulder, along with like, or a dead ox, something like that, and along with like a bulging sack and a whole bunch of stuff. And then there's another one walking with it, and it's pushing a wagon, but it's pushing the wagon as if it were a wheelbarrow, and the wagon is just heaping with like mostly edibles, but also things made of metal. And it looks like that there might even be like this wagon's probably filled with ore, and then just a whole bunch of stuff was like piled on top of it. One's pushing a wagon, and one is carrying like giant sack and like an ox, dead ox, over its shoulder. Just like they two were making their way towards the harbor. Not saying that there's anything other than they will have to be like avoided or directly flown towards or whatever. They are a main feature. So, but I'll let you do that. You can fly to shore, but that's what you notice as you're flying, that they are approaching.
Oh dear, I have to make sure they don't see me, get Nicodemus to a safe spot, and oh my goodness, wade back into the trouble.
After you goes Cloud. Cloud, you got this giant struggling with your mass of seaweed. He's dropped Far Eye onto the writhing mass, and of course he's in danger of being sucked into the roiling mess. Oh, Zergo.
As a bonus action, I will speak to the plants below me and tell them to make way. And then I will, as a movement, stop flying and drop straight into the water.
Okay.
Thorn.
Okay.
I'll try and pull deeper into the water.
Okay, I'll give you advantage because of just everything, the roiling mess, just everything. Roll an attack with advantage.
And it is a 16.
That hits. Roll your damage.
Not bad. 10 piercing damage.
Okay, and he's too big to be pulled
Yeah,
towards
he's
you.
large. So
But you could let yourself be pulled, like a Batman grappling, batarang grappling gun thing. No, okay, but you do, and like a seaweed tendril lashes out and strikes at him. Okay, and he is gonna continue fighting and waiting. Well, do you know what? He's gonna just pick up Far Eye and chop and make his way to the ship, but I'm gonna make it athletics to see.
And in fact, how would hurt him?
He is able to make 10 feet of movement this round.
What did you just say? Did you just call him an illegal immigrant? All right, pal, you're under arrest. We don't talk like that.
Yeah, but that's it. It doesn't pull him in, but it's still heavily hampering him. but he was able to at least move 10 feet by chopping and pulling and yanking. But he does have far eye. Once again, he just reached out and picked him up out of the roiling mass. It's become like he doesn't even know why he wants far eye anymore. It's just become a survival game. And none of the other giants want to go out and try to pull him out of there. You don't.
He's not a favorite.
Well, I mean, just you don't.
He beat somebody in dice the other night.
Well, you don't even save a drowning. You don't even save a drowning man, right? I mean, they just pull you under, right? That's. It's kind of, I don't know.
Oh,
bad omen.
Yeah.
Everything's just weird. Everything's just weird for them. They're here doing this pillaging. All of a sudden, there's just all this weird shit, and it's like, our job. We're supposed to protect the ship.
Yeah.
No.
Well, they're probably used to the villagers running and hiding, not having any resistance, and now all of a sudden they got resistance, so the dynamics are different to them.
Yeah. And so is back up to Garl.
Garl will take another shot at the giant.
Okay. I'll give you advantage for everything he's wading through and fighting his way through.
Okay, that's a 28.
Okay, that hits.
I wouldn't if he didn't have advantage.
Yeah.
And he gets 6, 7, 8 points of damage.
Okay. Arrow hits him and he swats it away with his hand, almost stumbling forward as the seaweed is fighting him at every step. You can see in the distance other giants are leaning against the gunnels watching this whole spectacle.
Then Garl will try to move down closer to possibly see if he can get the far eye and at some point, but not right off. He's trying to stay at a safe distance where he's not going to be swatted, hit, or grabbed since he's pretty bloodied.
Mm-hmm.
And, maybe next round he'll attempt.
Okay. Silence. You are taking Nicodemus to shore to safety. Where are you gonna? And you see that in the distance there are 2 giants that you have to keep yourself aware of. But what do you want to do with Nicodemus? Where would you like to put him?
Well, hiding
What do you kinda-
would be the best idea. I'd say where something's already been destroyed, so it looks like they've already been through there. They don't need to look.
So it's some rubble and ruin of toppled building, or mostly toppled building.
Yes.
Would you like it to be like a animal building, animal shelter, or a house, or a warehouse, or a residential home?
Probably a warehouse, because if they see something furry, they'll probably just think it's a rug.
Okay, and that makes sense because the warehouses would be probably closest to the docks. That there is a warehouse, and when you go into this warehouse, the odd thing about this warehouse is that it is wooden. Unlike most of the buildings are stone, it's wooden simply because of the size, because it is a true warehouse. Okay?
for people who have come into this country illegally?
Um,
And when it comes down to it, who's the one who suffers?
You
are the one who suffers. You are the one who
go into this warehouse. The warehouse is intact. Only the doors have really been opened up, and stuff has been ransacked in here. You can see that the main doors are open, and stuff's been ransacked, and there are like smashed crates and barrels and shit here and there. And when you carry Nicodemus in,
Oh, now it's Australia. What a fart.
now
The New York Times comes out with this shameful piece, and then
I have to keep saying that like this is like a mining town. It's a very rough town, a very rugged town. Not what you're used to. You're from Waterdeep, which nickname is the City of Splendors. You're from Waterdeep. You know about stuff. You're more worldly than just working in a mine all day and eating beans and dried meats at night. You know, like you're far more worldly. Like you've been to like parties with nobles and courtesans, and you know you've been in the same room as diplomats or merchants from all ends of the world.
Living the hand.
So this dank town, you're worldly, you're knowledgeable, you're like even compared to the giants. Those giants are just ransacking, pillaging barbarians, really, when it comes down to it. If you want, you know, they're just so they've already been through here, but because of your worldly eye, you happen to have a sense of value to things that these giants perhaps might overlook. And when you take Nicodemus into this warehouse, you walk by some smashed crates and some scattered barrels, and you see a heap that there is like a smashed barrel, and you can see that there's even like fingerprints in it, like giant-sized fingerprints. A heap of black powder with a smashed barrel at the center of it. And you can see that there's a giant fingerprint where it looks like a giant may have dabbed its finger into it and licked it, and you know, where you can see but giant size. And you recognize this barrel, and you look up and you can see a few others with the same that are still intact, but they have the same emblem painted on the sides of it. And it's something that you've seen in Waterdeep. It's a very new thing. A very, very new thing. It's just one day, it actually happened last summer. Summer before you met these guys. It's basically the festival in July called Summertide. And that's when, well, the harbor's been open since spring, so the harbor is in all of its splendor and its glory, and the city is jam-packed with travelers and merchants. Like, the city swells to nearly 1 million people in summertime. And Summertide is, of course, one of the biggest festivals, and everything is full of life and full of energy. And there are parades, and there's minstrels, and acrobats, and puppeteers, and entertainers of all types flood the city, as well as street merchants and vendors. All meet in Summertide. People go there because it's perfectly in between harvest and it's in between seeding. It's when everything is growing and people have time to sit back and kick up their heels. All the food and all the fruit starts flowing in from the city of I forgot what I called it last time. Golden Fields, that supplies all the fruit. You guys have heard about it before, but that's when all the food really starts flowing out of Golden Fields. So there's lots of food to eat. And one day, you were doing your part. Summertime. Along with one of the parades, with not only for the first time during this parade did you see automaton people, as the parade went through from the harbor and made its way around the city. The acrobats and the people bouncing on handstands on brightly colored wooden balls and walking on stilts, playing instruments that you saw walking amongst them were people-sized. They looked like marionettes without strings, but they're people-sized. And they walked along, and they juggled, and they did things that the acrobats and the humans and the people would do. But they were clearly constructed figures. Along with that strange sight, another thing that you saw was what looked like a fairy fire, dancing lights, prestidigitation, but it was little objects that people were sparking on torches and tossing, and they would either go flying or let off a big bolt, crack like thunder, and they would smoke and leave an acrid smell in the air. And when you asked about those two things, they said that the animatronic people are a new development called by the Temple of Gond, which is like quite a popular god, a god of like machines, kind of. That Gond had given his followers the way to create these animated things called nimble rays. And another one of the creations recently, but no one knows where it came from, is an invention called black powder. And you see in front of you there's a smashed pile, like a smashed keg with a pile of black powder, as well as a few other barrels of black powder stashed away in this warehouse that you came to hide Nicodemus. And I think we're going to call it there, because what do you guys think?
Exciting.
Yeah, it's 4 o'clock. May as well.
Yeah, sounds alright.
Well, that's 12 for me, so that works very fine.
Any questions?
Not overly as far as that, and just trying to save our buddies.
Yeah.
Yep. Slowly scraping together. Slowly.
Oh, we're lucky we're still alive.
Yes, very much so.
There.
Yeah.
But anywho's, it's 12 here. I'd